Hey everybody, it's TBSO and I'm coming back to you with another tarot video. So in this video, I want to make sure that you watch the intro video. The intro video I made discusses basically the energy that's going to be surrounding us for the next couple of weeks. Since we are in Mercury Retrograde, you want to make sure that you check that out. So if you haven't already seen that, go ahead and go watch. So basically, since we are in Mercury Retrograde, a lot of the things that we're going to be doing is reflecting. So healing is a collective word for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year 2020. Healing, okay? We're going to be healing ourselves first and foremost. We're going to be healing our family, our friendships, our relationships. Shit, we're going to be healing the fucking political system, all that. Our communities. We're really focused on making sure that we don't make the same mistakes that we have been making in the past. So as we're healing ourselves, that is basically how we heal the collective, and that's how we heal the community as well. Each sign does get its own song, but I did pick a collective song. And by the way, if you hear the fireworks, I'm sorry. They've been doing fireworks literally for weeks now. Like, I don't even know how they still have some more. But anyway, so the collective song I got is Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already heard that. But if you haven't, go listen to it. It basically goes like, because if you want to make the world a better place, you gotta look at yourself and make a change. And basically, you do want to make sure, since you are doing a lot of healing and since you are doing a lot of inner reflection, that you're not being too hard on yourself. Like, when I'm thinking of the energies right now, it's a little bit bipolar in a sense, because we're really working on healing ourselves, but then in the same sense, it's kind of like, stop hitting yourself. Meaning that when we do start to go into ourselves and we do start to reflect, that we're not being too harsh on ourselves. Intuition is going to be at an all-time high, especially in your dreams. So if you haven't already, you want to start a dream journal. And just a little bit of a reminder, not everything needs to be said, not everything needs to be seen, not everything needs to be heard. Get into nature, ground yourself, put your feet on some grass or some beach. Definitely want to make sure that you're easing up on yourself as well as easing up on others around you. If you're not going to be too harsh on yourself, don't be too harsh on, your friends and your family or strangers that you meet in the street. And we're using our discernment in full action. This is definitely a time for discernment, okay? So while you're trusting your intuition, make sure that you are also using logic and not just emotion, because a lot of us are going to be super emotional at this time, which is definitely understandable because, like I said, there's so much going on. But since it is so much going on, if everything you do and say is based on emotion, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to drive everybody around you crazy. So just use your discernment. Try to judge things from an objective viewpoint. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get right into the reading. Who's next? Aquarius. So Aquarius, you are next, okay? And I'm already seeing the devil card, so you know what that means. So I got a lot of different songs when I was downloading to Aquarius energy. One of the first songs I got is Water No Get Enemy, which is by Fela Kuti. It's basically a song about how water doesn't have enemy because everybody needs water. And the other song I got was Kanye West. Wait till I get my money right. Yeah, you can't tell me nothing. The song I got is Know What I Want by Uchis. So basically the energy I got is you with the shits. Like, I feel like you on a very, like, you can't tell me shit. Like, my ears is closed. Like, I'm the shit. Like, that's the kind of energy I'm feeling with you guys right now. Them chicken with ash and them lotion. And that is low-key funny as hell if you think about it. Them chicken with ash and them lotion. It is Alright, but let's see if I'm right about that, okay? Let's see what the cards say. Shit. Okay, so for the first three cards, I got the Strength card, the Six of Pentacles, and the Hangman. So with that being said, I feel like you've definitely been feeling like you have to be like the strong friend or the strong one. It's almost like you've been holding on, almost walking away from having to put on this strong front. Feeling as though you're a little bit stuck because you got the Hangman card. And the Hangman talks all about a pause, not really being sure. So maybe you've been a little bit unsure of leaving a situation and you're trying to have the strength to see the truth. Yeah, so Two of Pentacles, I feel like you've definitely been having a hard time making a choice. You've been trying to weigh out your options. You might have even made like a good versus bad list or like a pro versus cons list. And you've really been trying to figure out if you need to make this move. You're very unsure right now. 10 of Wands, you've been feeling a lot of responsibilities, and like maybe even your choice is deciding what responsibilities you want to deal with. I feel like the decision you're trying to make is staying in a relationship or not, or staying at the job you're in or not, or staying with your family or not. It's almost like what you're trying to weigh out is the responsibilities worth it? You've been having a little bit of trouble. Other people around you might have been putting a lot of baggage on you at the time, and that's why you feel like you had to, be strong, because a lot of people were, giving you their problems, and you kind of felt a little bit overwhelmed with it all. With the King of Cups energy right now, you're trying to be more so in your bag. You're trying to make sure that whatever you're doing is it's going to lead to a solid foundation for the future. Right now, you have been a lot more emotionally balanced, and you've been leading with your brain and not your heart, and you're trying to find somebody that does that as well. Finally, gain control of your feelings, and you're not letting the feelings get the best of you. You've been able to balance your responsibilities a little bit better, but you're still having trouble deciding on if you want to stay where you're at or if you want to choose a whole new direction. You need to go with the flow. Especially with the King of Cups, you may have been a little bit too serious, and I think right now you may want to go back to your childlike ways for a little bit, especially since you have been leading with logic. So to other people, you may be coming off a little bit closed off, or you may be coming off like, I don't got the time for this, like that's kind of the energy I'm getting. I think you might feel a little bit played, and you also might feel deceived. The Seven of Swords talks all about deception. So right now you might have came across some new information that changed your whole perspective. And I think things were moving really, really fast for you. And you may have slowed down a little bit with that, with the Hangman card, kind of getting your mojo back, and you're in a place where you're ready for a rapid movement. Definitely could be like a teacher or a mentor or a guide, or right now you have a lot of people who are looking up to you, and you have a lot of people who are looking to you for information, or for you to teach them, or for them to learn from you. And that may have been a little bit scary to you, almost like you want to teach people, but you're like, am I smart enough, am I good enough? And I want you to let you know that you are. Don't be too hard on yourself, and that is what's causing you to feel all this responsibilities, like because other people are looking at you, you feel like you need to put on this brave front. And I think it's definitely good. Continue to be brave, be sturdy in who you are, but don't get too sturdy whereas though you feel like you're stuck. The Fool card represents free spirit, innocence. So since this came out in reverse, this is telling me that right now you feel as though you need to be a little bit guarded, and you feel as though you can't be as free-spirited as you normally are. And as an Aquarius, that's probably drive you crazy because you're all about your freedom. So I feel like something has definitely been tying you down lately. You've been feeling a little bit restricted. So if you have started a new project, maybe you've been dibbling and dabbling, and it's like you're almost psyching yourself out on this project that you've been doing, or this relationship that you've been in, or this work that you've been focusing on. It's almost like because you feel all this responsibility, because you feel all these eyes on you, because you feel like people are looking at you, you're nervous, you put a halt on the project. Something is really holding you back from moving forward, and you definitely want to make sure that you're not letting you, as far as your inner thoughts or anybody else's thoughts, stop you from moving forward. So pay attention to that. So since the Seven of Swords represent deception, betrayal, trickery, robbery. I feel like you feel like you've been robbed of something. You feel like you've been tricked. You feel like somebody has been going behind your back, and whatever it was that you find out, it happened very fast and rapid. It turned everything upside down extremely quickly, almost like you were getting a little bit too comfortable, and something stirred up the pot, whereas you're like, now you feel like you constantly have to watch your back. But if you feel like you constantly have to watch your back with a relationship or with a friendship or with family members, or even at work, you really want to make sure that you're not diving into that energy. And what I mean when I say that is, if you feel like you constantly have to watch your back, then all that's going to do is create tension. So you really want to avoid tension at this time, because that is what is going to cause you to come down, and you really don't want to be pulled down by other people's thoughts or other people's betrayal. Not only do you need to be more strategic, but you need to put yourself first, and you need to put your emotion first. I feel like you've been putting everybody else's emotions before yours, which is unlike you. So you want to make sure that you go back into a place where, you are a little bit more selfish, and you are a little bit more, selfish with your time and with your energy. Don't be afraid to, step back a little bit. You've been trying to escape a situation that has not been working out for you. And right now what's coming into your future is movement. You may be moving soon, or you may be thinking about moving soon, or you may be thinking about taking action in something that you've been putting on hold for a long time. I think it's time to make that move. I think it's time to make that action. Go ahead and go forward. And the 8 of Wands also indicates air travel too. So you might be getting on an airplane soon or traveling soon, like I said. And if you are doing that, you definitely want to make sure that you're being careful, especially with everything that's going on. If you are moving, or if you are making a move, you want to do it in a way that more strategic. Advice. That's letting me know that somebody might have been pursuing you heavily, or you might have been pursuing somebody else heavily. And right now there might have been a little bit of a pain going on in the middle of the relationship. Past things were happening really, really fast and really, really rapid. Been a build up of energy, as well as a shift in focus. And if you are actively pursuing your passion, don't let other people stop you. Don't even letting other people's betrayal have you doubting yourself. Just stop doubting yourself. I know in the beginning of this, I put in the intro, stop hitting yourself. Let's just get one more card out for some extra advice for you guys. Let's see how you should be dealing with this pain and frustration. Final card, Justice card. So Justice card is letting you know that everything is going to work out exactly how it's supposed to work out. Justice is going to be served. So if you did have anybody who was basically deceiving you or playing you as a fool, that person is going to get their karma. That justice is definitely going to be in your near future. What goes around comes around. I feel like that person may realize that they kind of fucked up. They're going to see that, and that person is definitely going to come back to you. Again, not only is the truth going to come out, but justice is going to be served. And more than likely, it's going to be served hot, okay? Either way, you definitely do need to make a choice, and you need to make the choice that's going to be for your higher good. Follow your intuition, and if you know a job or a situation or a person is no longer serving you, then you need to go ahead and take note of that and move forward. Everything is going to come out of the shadows, so what needs to be seen is going to be seen. What needs to be heard is going to be heard. Only don't go digging for anything. That's not necessary, because everything is going to come to light eventually. And I feel like this is going to happen really fast. What you do is shift your focus. Stop focusing on people or things that are no longer serving you. What you need to put more of your focus on are these projects that you have been working on for a long time, and the project that you put on pause. A lot of shit to say, and you have a lot of shit to do. And don't worry so much about the criticism. Focus on the people who support you, and focus on the things that are actually, what I think you need to do? You need to focus on your why. Once you focus on your why, it's going to be a lot easier for you to weed out anything that does not align with your why. So go ahead and take some time to yourself. You need to turn the pain into money. Turn the pain into laughter. Turn the pain into opportunities. Turn the pain into happiness, okay? Do not let other people's opinion of you bring you down. If you notice that your friends are not supporting you, if your lover is not supporting you, if your family is not supporting you, people are going to get left behind. Like, period. My advice to you is don't be afraid to leave people behind who have not catched up, okay? You know what you want. You know what you want. So stop trying to play yourself. Stop trying to make excuses for other people. Go ahead and get into alignment with yourself. I'm going to help you during your ascension process. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys, Aquarius. Thank you guys so much for watching. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.